So, first things first, disclaimer, guys. None of my story times are current situations. If that's ever the case, I'll be sure to let you guys know if that's the case. So, it didn't happen yesterday, a few hours ago, a couple months ago. No, most of these story times have happened maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago, or whatever the case may be. But if ever it's a current event, you'll be sure to know that, so you guys don't have to ask me if it's a current situation. Okay. Woof. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Based on the title below, you guys know that we have a story time today. It's story time. Where should I start? From the beginning, of course. So anyways, I had to make that disclaimer before the video because persons kept asking me about my story time. So no, that's out of the way, guys. Story time. A few years back, I was dating this guy, right? But the weird part about it is, so I was 19 years old and I was working. One of the guys there became a pretty close friend of mine, because he used to live close to where I was living, and sometimes he would give me a ride home, but we were just friends. There was nothing more to it. I had just had my baby the September. I started working there the December, and I was just friend with this guy's, nothing more to it. Anyways, over a period of time we became really close. He had a longtime girlfriend for a few years, but they were pretty much on the verge of breaking up. But like, he would share stuff that he's going through with her with me because he didn't really have much friends, and basically just didn't want to share the embarrassing stuff that he was going through with her with other people. We had become pretty close and he was comfortable confiding in me, I guess. I would also share stuff with him about stuff that I was going through. Like I said, we were really close at this point. So anyways, guys, rumors started going around that we were together, or whatever the case may be, but at that point we were genuinely just friends. Anyways, long story short, I have to cut out a few parts because if I don't, it would be a long ass story, and I'm sure y'all are not gonna sit down and listen to all of that. So I'm trying to make the story as short as possible. So anyways, guys, like I said, he would drop me home in the evenings and he would pick me up in the mornings at the bus stop when he was going to work because we lived close by. His girlfriend was always cheating on him, so eventually he built up the courage to stop talking to her. Okay, so with that being said, no, I had moved from where I was and went back to live with my mom because it wasn't working out for me either where I was. So I went back to live with my mom, and I took my son and I went back to live with my mom, and we started becoming more than friends. He started to help me with my son. Like, he would buy stuff for my son. He would help me with my son basically, and he would still ensure that I had a right to go to work and from work, even though at this point I had moved from where I was and was no longer living close by him. But he would give me money, make sure that I was straight when it comes on to certain things. Anyways, he had eventually broken up with his girlfriend, and I guess that didn't sit well with her. So she decided that it wasn't going to be that way. Anyways, she was working. The funny thing about this is she was working, her workplace, her job was pretty close to where we were working as well. And because they were together for quite a few years, she was also friends with some of the people at my job. So persons were, I guess, telling her that we were together. Okay? that doesn't sit well with mommy, I guess. So that she decided that she was gonna confront me. Now, mind you, I had nothing to do with the breakup, so I don't know why she wanna confront me about her breakup situation, because I'm now friends with her now ex. So at that point, I don't even think I did anything wrong. So, anyways, guys, I remember at one point in particular, she came to the job, and she came to me and she was asking me if we were together or whatever. No, I was young. I was 19. I didn't want any problems. So I just told her, like, no, we're just friends. Because I didn't want to lose my job and I didn't want any issues. So I was at work when she came to confront me about being with this person also, and I didn't want any drama. So I was like, no, it's my friend. She was like, persons are telling me that y'all are together, whatever, whatever. And whatever. I was like, nah, we just friends. Fast forward, long story short, remember, they're now over. It's official. We are now dating. And I think she had seen us a few times coming to work and going home as well. So I guess at that point she knew that we were together. But I would never what you call it? I would never what's the word I'm looking for? At no point did I told her that we were together. At no point was he telling anybody that we were together, because we were trying to save ourselves the drama at the workplace. So anyways, guys, a few months had passed, and I think it was a Friday. Normally on Fridays I would chill a little bit before I go home. So it was a Friday. He was working late. I was staying back at work for a little bit before I was ready to go home. He was going to take me home, so I was at work waiting, just chilling with my friends until he get back. Anyways, when he came back to pick me up to take me home, he told me that he was going to stop by his house first before he took me home. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now, mind you, in between these months, guys, I used to get random text messages on my phone. And I just knew that it was her. I remember one time I got a text message on my phone and she was like, oh, I'm going to do voodoo on your ass. I'm going to do witchcraft on your ass. I'm going to show you that I'm not to mess with. You think that you can just come to a job and take over people's boyfriend, yada, 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 all kind of stuff. So I just knew that it was her. People at the job also used to tell me stuff that she was saying about me and what she's going to do to me and whatever the case may be. So anyways, that day in particular, Brian, let's call him Brian. I know I didn't give him a name in the beginning, but let's call him Brian. And let's call her Simone. Let's call her Simone. So Brian came to pick me up from work, and he said that he was going to stop by his house first before he took me home. Because he had to do something at his house. I don't even remember what it was, because that's quite a while back. So anyways, guys, so we drove to his house, and we went inside the house. Now, mind you, Brian lives in a pretty big house. It's a 2-story house. It's upstairs and downstairs. It's a 2-story house. At the time, his other relatives that were living in the house was in New York, so he was the only person there. The house was locked up. Nobody was there. So we went inside, and I went upstairs to Brian's room, and I was just chilling a little until he was finished doing what he was doing. So anyways, I was like, he came upstairs and we were watching TV together. So I think after a little while, I noticed that I was hearing noise in the house, but I wasn't quite sure what I was hearing. So I was like, you heard that? He's like, no. No, mind you, I was sitting at the doorway of the room. Well, my back was turned to the door, but I was closer to the doorway. So I'm like, you sure you don't hear somebody in the house? He's like, no. So he got up and he went to look inside the house. He came back and he's like, nobody's in the house. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? I'm like, I don't know, but somebody's in the house. He's like, nah, nobody's in the house. Maybe you're hearing the neighbors or whatever the case may be. Guys, we started watching the TV again. like I told you, my back was turned to the door at this point. So I was sitting there, and out of nowhere, I just felt somebody grabbed my hair and started pulling me. And that's when I started screaming because I was so frightened. So I felt somebody grab my hair and started pulling me, and that's when I started screaming, and that's when he was like, "Oh, Simone, let her go, let her go. What are you doing here?" Now, mind you, like I said, guys, when we just came, the place was locked. Nobody was there. So we're like, what the hell's going on? So she started pulling me. No, at this time, I was like 130 pounds, and this girl was like almost 300 pounds, to be honest. So obviously, she had the edge over me because she was bigger than I am. Plus, she attacked me from the back, so I had no idea what was going on. So she grabbed me my hair and she started pulling me. So she punched me in the face, but then he jumped. At this point, she was on top of me, but he jumped on top of her. So now they're on top of me, they're both on top of me, and he started pulling her, and then our clothes started to rip off because he was pulling her, and it's like it was as if he was not even able to manage her, like she's a big girl. So eventually he pulled her off me. So I walked back into the room. To be honest, at this point, I wasn't even trying to fight her because I was just so frightened, because I was like, how the hell is she in the house? How did she got in the house? So they started fighting, and he was like, why are you here? Why are you in my house? I told you that it's over. You're not supposed to be here. So they were fighting, they were rumbling, they were knocking stuff down, they were all over the place. At this point, I did not care as long as she's not trying to attack me again. So anyways, he finally managed to get her out of the house, and she was like, I'm going to my car for something or other, whatever. I don't even know what she said she was going for, but when he finally got her to go outside and she said she was going to her car for something, he finally locked the grill and the door. So he came back upstairs and he was like, I know what happened. So I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, she had keys to my house before we broke up. So I guess she still had the keys. And being that they had broken up for a little while now and she has never been to the house, I guess he never expected her to do that. Now, it was kind of obvious. It was like, maybe that particular day she was at the job or waiting for us while we were leaving, because she knew that he would take me home in the evenings. So she probably was at the job waiting for us, and she probably followed us to his house, because there's no way she would know that I was going to be at his house that particular day. Long story short, she left. He asked me if I wanted to go to the police. I'm like, no, because at this point, to be honest, guys, I was just over it. I was so frightened because, to be honest, I'm not a scared person, but I wasn't expecting that. So I was a bit shaken up, to be honest, because I was like, what if it was a different situation? What if she had something and she had slapped me, she had stabbed me, or whatever the case may be? So I was a bit shaken up. I was just like, you know what? Just take me home. So I went home. Guys, the whole ride home, I was extremely quiet because I was so pissed off. And even though I know at that point that it wasn't his fault, because he wasn't expecting her there either, in my mind it was like, I don't care, she's your ex-girlfriend, all of this is happening because of you. That's just how I felt at the moment, you know what I mean? So I got home and my mom was like, why is your eyes swollen? My left eye was swollen because I told you that she punched me in my face because she was dragging me from behind. So I was like, oh, I don't even know, I think my allergies is acting up or whatever the case may be, because I didn't want to tell my mom what was going on either. I didn't want her to worry about that. Anyways, that was that for the rest of the evening. The next day I went to work, and while I was at work at lunchtime, I went outside to get lunch, guys. Everybody was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with your face? I just told them that my allergies was acting up. Would you believe that this girl came to the job again, and she was in the parking lot waiting to fight with me again? She even told people that she was waiting for me because, like I told you, she has friends at the job because she has been with this person for years and she know people there. And somebody called me and told me that she was waiting for me in the parking lot. When I went outside to get lunch, I saw her and I just called the police because I was really not trying to fight with this big chick. I was really not trying to have no drama at the job and stuff like that. I just called the police and they came and took her off the property. Um, it was just a crazy experience because even after that, I was with that person for a few years, and yo, it wasn't until probably like 3 years later that this girl actually gave up and stopped pestering me. Like, she would call me, she would text me, she would show up to the job, she would do all kind of crazy stuff for about 3 years. Like, it was crazy. I after a while I got so used to her doing these stuff, like it didn't even bother me anymore. I just didn't care. So guys, that was a story time about how I was dragged and slapped by somebody's crazy ex-girlfriend. Yeah, I was attacked from the back, so I wasn't expecting any of that. So I don't even feel no kind of way about it. And like I told you guys, that was a while back, so I didn't even care. I'm not one for drama, so at that point I just wanted it to be over. And at the time, the person was a really nice person to me. That, like, so even though all of that was going on, I wasn't thinking about, oh, let me stop talking to this person or whatever, because it's not like they were entertaining her or whatever the case may be. She was just crazy. So anyways guys, if you're new, welcome to my channel. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new. Did I say that before? I don't even know. But have a great weekend, guys. I'm out and I'm about to go do the same.